Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Talking Shit. It's your boy, the Sophisticated Jerk. And today, man, I wanted to touch the topic. I seen it in the news floating around, and it's like the NBA viewership is dropping. So, from what I seen, there was a steep decline in, viewership. And, I seen a bunch of clips and different podcasters talk about, who's to blame, what are the specific things. So, I do think it's a multitude of things, but I'll say theory or opinion on it is I think the superstars kind of killed competition by, everybody trying to pair up, doing the super teams. And I think it started with LeBron when he went down to the Heat. I remember arguing with a bunch of my friends, like, that's going to be bad. Viewership spiked after that. But I was like, hey, and down the line, when other people are going to try to match what LeBron did, like trying to pair up with three superstars and then more, I think it was a trickle effect that was going to happen and stuff. And I think that's typically what's coming out. But let me get to some clips real quick and we can circle back on that where some other people had some different point of view. So I do want to share some of those with y'all. So let me go ahead and pull them up. So this gentleman right here, the one I'm pulling up right now, his take is he's kind of breaking down the 3-point shot, kind of, being the decrease in, I guess, finesse up in the sport because everybody's just trying to launch threes. And I heard a couple other people kind of speculate this might be the decline. So let me go ahead and play his clip.
Does the NBA have a three-point problem right now? This season is shattering records for three-point attempts. They're up 7% across the league from just last season. And here's a crazy real eye catcher. A little over a decade ago, the 2013-14 season, the team who shot the most threes per game was the James Harden Rockets at 26.6 a night. You want to know where that would rank them present day? Dead last in the NBA. Every team, a matter of fact, actually shoots over 30 per game, with Denver holding the lowest mark at just over 30. And when you look at the top, it gets even crazier. It's the Celtics, who shoot 51.1 threes a night. Missoula ball is really a thing. Now, a lot of people speculate that this is correlated with the NBA's ratings decline. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I know the answer to that, but I do think fans in general have a very bad pulse on the current rating situation. I mean, after all, Steph Curry is the biggest attraction the sport has, and goes without saying his game is quite literally predicated on shooting threes.
Yeah, so on his take, he say he was just trying to make the relation get what he's hearing, but he didn't go as far as to say that he thinks it was a 3-point. But I do think it has a little bit to play with it. Not for the fact of like he had a good point of saying like Steph Curry is one of the biggest names in the league. So he definitely predicated his game on that. So I don't think he's the issue. I just think most people try to always mimic what is successful instead of sticking to their strengths in their game. So I think everybody felt like they had to like launch threes. They might not be the best 3-point shooter. Instead of like relying on the mid-range shot or driving to the basket, it's like everybody felt like they just have to sit around and shoot threes and launch them all night. And I just think it was effective for their style of play and stuff. So I do think that's probably what happened is more the like 3-point shot. I don't think it killed the game. I just think like everybody mirroring what Golden State and now the Celtics are doing. But all right, let me get to this next clip. He kind of breaks down the viewership ratings and how the decrease went. So let me go ahead and play this clip. I think this was a good one to show the numbers.
Stop ignoring it. NBA viewership is plummeting. Is Adam Silver to blame? The NBA's ratings are down 28% on ESPN. Even TNT, a longtime partner, is struggling with flat numbers. What's going on? First, there's player movement. Stars switch teams so often, it's hard to keep up. And low management.
Let me stop it right there. See, and that's what I was saying before, man. I think it's the stars that was moving around everywhere. Like I said, starting with LeBron. I think when he went to the Heat, I think that's what triggered the league to go in a frenzy. And I think that just kind of killed competition because most of the time you want to see, there at least a little bit of a balance where you probably had like one or two maybe superstars, not like three or four. Because it's only the only way you could really beat that team is to stack up too. So I think the Heat was the first move. And, KD did his thing, went to the Warriors. James Harden, them bounced around. And so I think the league is starting to kind of reset a little bit. But I think eventually it's got to balance out like it did in the 90s. Because I felt like even though Jordan had his like back-to-back wins and stuff, it still felt like other people could win. You had like the Knicks, they were tough. You had Utah Jazz. You had I forgot what other teams. Lakers was doing good, before Jordan got his ring. Lakers and the Celtics were strong. But you just felt, man, seemed like a more balance in the league where you could watch every game. So I just think when LeBron and them started teaming up with too many people, because when LeBron went down to Miami, Wade was like a top 3 player in the league. If you look at the scoring around that time, and Chris Bosh was in the top 10. So it's like those 3 merging together. Even in the first year when they had no chemistry with each other, they went to the finals. So I mean, just that alone lets you know like the power of that move. Then you had he went to Cavs, and like I said, Kevin Durant teaming up with Curry and them, even though they already won and stuff. It imbalanced the league, and I think everybody in their mind felt like they had to tag up with everybody else, team up to win the championship, and it just caused like competition to kind of go to the sideline. So I do think that had a big piece of it.
Fans are tired of paying to see bench warmers while stars rest. Next, social justice activism. The NBA's stance has alienated some viewers. And let's not forget the sheer number of games. 82 games dilute Tauku excitement. Is Adam Silver to blame? Was David's?
I do think there's way too many I'll say games, because I think right now they play a total of I think 82 games. So yeah, I put together a slide because I got a suggestion that I kind of wanted to make right here, where the current, I'll say, season starts October 22nd. It ends April 12th. And I think a lot of that time they're competing with the NFL, and the NFL is just spanking them. You ain't going to do it, because I think in the NFL, they do a good job. Every game matters. They don't play like too many. I think they need to change the season from April to August. Them summer months when there ain't too much going on. I think that's when the NBA needs to kind of, move along to that time frame, and then only go up to like 46 games at the most, chopping in half damn near, where it's just like they can get more rest. The games will be meaningful. It'll be in a different time period where not too much is going on, where people want to watch a sport. And I think that would help them out with that, with the scheduling. And then also the mid-season tournament. I think they should get a little more creative with it, because a lot of times the tournament or even the All-Star game, it's just like do away with the All-Star game. But, as far as the mid-season tournament, like mix up the teams kind of like you did with the All-Star, like have like 8 to 16 teams where you could like draft them in, pull in like the best of the college, because March Madness would be over. They should be ending the college tournament, and then even a G League. So you can only have like a couple actual NBA players on each team, where it's not just all NBA players, but also like the top, I'll say, college players, and then also I'll say the top G League. That way it's a nice mixture. You can have a good prizes. Everybody gets paid that's on these teams. So like it's a good way to showcase like the new people that's going to be coming into the draft, gives them some burn, gives them some experience in the tournament. Also some of the G League people that could start, coming up to the play in the games and stuff. Then I think it would be real competitive, because you still got some NBA players, and then you could do a draft for these teams, like the 8 to 16 that's in the tournament. It mixes it up. It keeps it fresh. It could give like some of the other players breaks, so they're not just going out there playing around, especially, when they start making them big contracts. They're just like, I don't care about these tournaments. But, other people coming into that, they're going to be hungry or trying to show for themselves. So I think if they could mix it up, get the fans engaged, where they could like do part of the draft or something like that too. So I think they could mix it up a little bit. But all right, let me get back to the clip. I just wanted to play one more, so let me pull that back in.
Stern, the true mastermind. The new media partners have a lot riding on this. Stay tuned, NBA fans. The game.
Don't get me wrong, David Stern is the leader, so I mean, by default, you're gonna have to take some blame. But I just think it went back way before, like the player movement. I think, like I said, LeBron's move kind of empowered everybody. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm for empowerment, but I just think, players got to kind of get back to wanting to play against each other instead of trying to play with everybody on their team and stuff. Because I remember at one point I was seeing like KD was thinking about going to, Lakers to play with LeBron, Anthony Davis. I'm like, man, when is enough is enough? When do you want to play against the people? You could still be friends and be like, hey, man, I just want to beat you. You're the best and stuff. So I think everybody trying to merge up. I think it was just that era that kind of killed it off. But it seems like they are getting a little hungrier. People are starting to get back to it. So hopefully it smooths out. But there was one more clip that I wanted to play. So this other gentleman, he had a pretty good theory. And I know people have been mentioning, things going woke that kind of turn the fans off. I don't think it's just that. Because I think if you're competitive, you really only care about the basketball. You're going to tone out everything else. I just think, it was other factors besides being woke. So I just don't agree with that point.
Ratings have tanked and hit an all-time low. Just 4.59 million people watch the NBA All-Star Game. It's a pinprick compared to the number who watched in, for instance, the Jordan era. And for people out there who say, well, sports have changed a lot since then. No. The audience for the Super Bowl has actually grown since the Jordan era in basketball. And what Adam Silver has done is spend all of the capital that the NBA had built up from the David Stern, Michael Jordan era. And now they have moved into a recession of the NBA audience. The NBA allowed its brand to be destroyed by going woke. That's the reality. That's the facts.
See, I just don't agree with the woke stuff. I think it was just other factors and stuff that played into it. Like I said, the lack of competition. I do think some of the teams mimicking the 3-point shot, the scheduling, I think needs to be shortened. I think they need to change it where it's not competing against football, because football is just that sport, man. We got to be honest with that. So I think they need to change that. Lower the games where they're more meaningful, because 82 games throughout the year, half the time they're doing load management. They're not even playing. So you're just like, all right, man, I could skip until the playoffs. That's when people start picking up. And, that's like the tail end of your season where, you want the games to be more meaningful. And then, like I said, you got the end tournament now. People really ain't buying into it. Then also the All-Star game. It's just, they just launch it up points, barely any defense and stuff. So flopping everywhere. So I think, like I said, it's a multitude of stuff. But I kind of wanted to go over some other solutions that I kind of saw, man, because I was looking at the salary cap. And I think one thing the NFL also does good is they got a hard cap. And I think the NBA needs to go over it instead of that luxury tax and stuff. It's just like, look, if you got $140 million that you could spend for your team, that's it. You can't go over that. So I think they need to go to a format, because right now you could give a max contract for 5 years, paying a person over 50 million. And I just think, man, after people cash out, they kind of just, they're like, yeah, whatever. I'm resting. I'm doing all this stuff. I could go team up with people. So I just think, man, the teams need to come with a new structure where, you can only, you got to stick to that hard cap first. You can't go over. You can only give one max contract up to I say 35 million. And then you could give additional $5 million bonus on top of that. So a possible total of 40 million. But this has to be based on the games played, your record, and, other accomplishments. Like if you're MVP, you make it to the defensive player of the year, 6-man award. So also on that, I got a mid-tier contract that goes up to 27 million with additional 3 million in bonuses. So same before, based on the number of games played, the record, and the accomplishments. And then that third tier, and that's going to pretty much be your role players and everybody else, that salary goes up to 5.3 million. And then, you could still, maybe if there's money left over, you could pay out bonuses to this group. So I think if they had those 3 tiers and it had to be hard set, because I don't know if y'all ever seen those memes where it's just okay, you got 30 NBA players on it, and they have the old school with the new school ones mixed, and it's man, you got $10. You got to create this team. This person's worth $3. This other person's worth $2, and then the remaining people in this tier are $1. You got to piece together your team. Ours $5 or something. But the whole concept is you got to formulate a team with $10 or something, whatever the money they got. And then so you got to kind of make some hard decisions. You're damn, okay, I really want this center, but I can't overspend on this if I want this other person. So, but you got to start looking in the dollar territory to put the pieces together. So I think that's what teams need to get to, where it would help balance out the competition. And, everybody's got to sit there and, make dollars make sense. Or if somebody wants a max, it'd be like, shoot, okay, I do want to play with my friend over there, but shit, he already got the max. They're gonna get at the LeBron, so I'm about to go over to this other team because I want the max, and the contracts just ain't as high as they used to. Where it's like, man, I could go anywhere and take that hit. It's like, man, you got to take a hell of a hit going from 50 million a year to 35 million, and then you got to work for the bonuses and stuff. And then also, I would make the contracts only 3 years. Whereas it's like, I think in some cases it could be like 5. I think the major ones are like 5, but I forgot what the rookie ones are. I think they could go a little longer, if I'm not mistaken. If I correct me on that, I'll put a comment in a thing at the end of the video. But I would just make them 3 years, and then I'll put an injury clause. So if somebody's like continuously injured over the span of that contract, then it's like they will automatically default to like third tier salary to 5.3 million. So you have somebody like Kawhi, he damn near been hurt like 2 max contracts. It's like, he got a default, and that money got to be divvied up. All right, go back to the pool or something. And then it's every 3 years. It's like people got to put that dollars to cents. You got to control that purse. So, it would force teams to, not give out the max contracts like that, because you got to be selective. Or like every 3 years, you're like, shoot, okay, we can't pay this person because so-and-so might hit that market. I'm going to keep my, cap space, open a little bit, or do more trades and stuff. So I think it would balance out the league a little bit more. But these NBA players probably going to whoop my ass for saying something like that. So I ain't trying to be all in y'all pockets, but I'm just trying to give y'all some solutions. But all right, y'all, man, I just wanted to touch this topic, man, because like I said, I'm still a big fan of the NBA, man. Love the sport, but I do think, man, they need more competition. They need some different ideas and stuff. So hopefully, man, they get it back on track, and they get back up there where they need to be. Because I like I said, I grew up in that Jordan era when everybody, it was almost like, damn, the game on, let me go watch that. Damn, so it's Sonic are playing today. You could damn near watch every team. I remember I was watching when they had Chris Mullin and up in Golden State and all the other teams. You could just, like I said, the whole schedule, you could watch every team. It just seemed balanced, and even though Jordan did his thing during that era, other teams felt like they could come close. But all right, y'all, I'm out of here. Peace.